Thanks to a delay, the aircraft model was pretty much sold out before it even hit the shelves. I was so lucky to get mine from the FMB shop, who once more are making this review possible thanks to their great prices. I can highly recommend them, and you can find a link to them in the video description below. And with that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A220-300 of ITA Airways. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and on top of the box we have the ITA Airways branding. The backside of the box unfortunately follows the dreadful box design of Herpa Wings, so we get yet another really annoying cutout. Well, that's all we can say about the box. Let's look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here she is, the Airbus A220-300 in the current standard livery of ITA Airways. Finally, we get a blue ITA Airways single-aisle aircraft. This is in fact the very first blue ITA Airways single-aisle scale 500 aircraft model we get. So it is about time that we take a look at it. The model has of course been out now for a while, but I just did not have time to take a look at it before now. And I mean, unfortunately, quite a few collectors missed out on it because it was simply sold out before it even hit the shelves. It had an initial delay, and then the pre-orders pretty much ate up the entire production batch. So now let's take a look and see what Herpa has managed to do with it. And on top of the vertical stabilizer, we find the last two letters of the registration code worked into the Italian tricolor. Then we can see the full stabilizer with the Italian tricolor, or the Italian flag, and then of course these lovely small design elements of the ITA Airways branding or color scheme. Then on the fuselage we have the aircraft type specification and the full registration code of the aircraft, and of course also here these small design elements go down from the stabilizer onto the fuselage. Then we of course have a bit of detailing around the APU exhaust here towards the very tail of the aircraft. And if we then look on top of the fuselage, we do have the addition of a set dome. And while Herpa usually tends to be quite inaccurate with their set dome sizes, and also this perhaps tends to be a little bit larger than in real life, it is still, I think, within acceptable margins. Then if we move to the front of the aircraft, we can see across the fuselage the ITA Airways branding. We also find a SkyTeam logo, of which the airline is a member. Now, there are plenty of details on the real aircraft that Herpa unfortunately has skipped out on, but at least we do have the name of the aircraft placed underneath the cockpit windows. But also the cockpit section itself, Herpa has skipped out on a lot of details. Now, we do have the cockpit windows with the metallic edges, the window wipers. Above that, we find the last two letters of the registration code and the emergency exit for the aircraft. But again, there were so many details here that Herpa could have added, which they just didn't. Then we can take a quick look at the engine nacelles. They have been kept in all white, but we do have the silver leading edge and the ITA Airways branding printed on, but no safety markings. Again, Herpa skipping out on details. At least the physical detailing of the engines is all right, especially here from the front. Very, very nice. You can see the engine fan blades. And another detail they couldn't skip out on was the emergency exit, which we find on the fuselage just above the wings, leading us straight to the wings, which we should also take a closer look at. Starting off with the top side, where we have the different flap slats and spoilers carved out very nicely, and we do also have the markings for the emergency exit printed on. The underside of the wings gives us more nice physical detailing and the full registration code of the aircraft once again. And the A220 then of course also has these lovely little winglets, which I think Herpa has also done a fairly decent job with. Then we have the landing gear. That is the standard landing gear that Herpa uses for all the A220 aircraft models, which is a good thing for the main landing gear, which genuinely looks really nice. Unfortunately, not the same case for the front landing gear, which is hideously oversized, so the same ugly issue as we see with the A320 models. And we don't have any printed details either, at least not on the landing gear itself. On the belly of the aircraft we do find some details related to the landing gear. Then if we move further back, we can also see here the ITA Airways branding has been added. We do also have a hole in the fuselage for a stand that is not included with this aircraft model, but it doesn't destroy any printed details here, so I mean, I guess I can live with it. And we have some more printed details here towards the tail of the aircraft. And then we also do get the doors to the cargo compartments that have been added to the aircraft here at the back and also here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Airbus A220-300 in the current standard livery of ITA Airways in scale 1 to 500 from Herpa Wings. And what can we say about this aircraft model? I mean, looking at it just like that, it's not a bad scale 500 aircraft model. The A220 mold, although it has changing shapes around the nose, is not too bad from Herpa Wings. The finish itself is also quite alright. I think Herpa is doing a better job when it comes to getting the ITA Airways blue on their aircraft models than so many other diecast manufacturers we have seen, also in other scales. So yeah, there are some good things here. But Herpa is leaving away standard details in the print that we are more than paying for. This aircraft model has an official retail price of 35 euros, and then not adding static ports or safety markings on the engines. That is naughty and not in a good way. And I mean, if they leave away these details, they could then have added more details around the cockpit section. The A220 has plenty of details around that part of the aircraft, but Herpa also didn't do that. They just skipped out on these details. And I'm sorry, for that retail price, that's not fair game. And it is really a shame because, as I say, it is not a bad scale 500 aircraft model. It is just heavily being let down by Herpa not keeping promises. And that is why this aircraft model most likely is not ending up on my good, but my naughty list. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like. If you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.